Hi, this is Kelly from Petica Kelly and Play Learn Talk, and in today's video tutorial, we're going to answer the question, how do you make a Feed the Animal boom card game? Now, there's lots of variations of this and lots of applications for it. Today, we're going to look at 8 different ways you can learn how to make a Feed the Animal game and use it in your boom card creations. So we're going to look at the very simplest version first, and that is just to have 2 draggable items, no drop zone. This is great for free play, but it's not that practical for other uses, and we'll talk more about that later. So let's go ahead and take a look. So in today's tutorial, we're going to have a snowman and fish theme, and I'm going to keep it really consistent so you can see how these characters can play out in different formats, but this is the most basic one. So here we have a draggable item, we have another draggable item. Now when I move these around, they stay where I put them because there is no drop zone to snap them back into place. However, when I move the fish to the bear's mouth, he disappears just like we want, okay? So he's not sitting on top of the mouth, but he's actually going inside and creating that visual effect that the bear has eaten the fish. That's what we want, right? All right, let's look at our next variation. So we have a pre-made background, draggable pieces, no drop zone. Pieces are free to be moved right off the page, all right? So let's go over here. So we have a draggable piece, and then we have 3 draggable fish. Okay, this is made with a pre-made background, so that means this area right here has been imported in. All right, so once again, if I move these pieces, a student can very easily just drag it right off the page and not be able to get it back. But we can drag our fish over and they will disappear, and we can pair it with a task like saying an R word. So we'll say the word row, say the word ray, and say the word rye. All right, and then we'd hit next to go over. All right, so now we're to the page that looks a little bit messy. That is my cue to go into the Boom Workstation to show you how to make it. So here's what it looks like. I've already imported my background, I've imported my larger image here, and I've imported some of my fish. Actually, all 3 of them, but I haven't sized them down. Now I want to point out different things that you can do with your draggable items when you have it in a format like this. So here we have our first fish. I'm going to hover it over the space of the table that I've created ahead of time, and then I'm going to simply drag it out like this. Now this fish actually covers up the entire word. However, if you have maybe pictures here instead of words and the fish shape doesn't cover up those, those pictures, you can give your fish a background or your item a background. So you're going to click on the item, you've clicked on it because it has a blue highlight, and then you're going to come over to background and change it to the background that you want. Let's make it white, okay? Now I'm going to size it down. Now if you want all the sizes to be the same size, okay, you can click on the fish like this, come over to size and rotate, and you can see that this fish is 201 by 149. So let's look at this fish. It's a little bit larger there. Okay, so we can just double click it and make it 149, and then those are the same size. All right, so with this one, let's give it a try. So we have 201 by 149. Let's see, 201, oops. 201 by 149. All right, so we have our fish. The next thing that we need to do to make all of this work is make them all draggable items, okay? So we are not putting a drop zone in here. We are just doing a simple draggable item setup, okay? So we're gonna click on all 3. I'm gonna hold down on my keyboard Command as I click on all 3, and then come over to where it says drag and drop options and hit draggable. Okay, I also need to make this one draggable because if I don't, these fish are just going to go on top of it. So let's make that draggable. Now, the next step that you really need to pay attention to is these fish need to be on the bottommost layer. Okay, so think of this like a sandwich. These are the bottom piece of bread. So you're going to click on all 3 of them, go over to Z order, and then hit rear. I like to double click it like 5 times. Okay, so that's going to make our game work the way that we want it to. All right, so we can go ahead and preview it, make sure it works. And let's see. It does. They all go inside. You notice this has a white, or the other one had a white background. We didn't put one on here. And if we move it over, we can get all of our fish again. Okay, so this is good if you want students to continue to be able to play with the deck that you're making. I wouldn't recommend it in this particular setup, but it could be useful for free play. All right, let's go back to the main game. All right, so we're going to go on to the next one. All right, pre-made background. All items are draggable. No drop zone, incorrect layering. So let's see what this means. All right, so here we have a task card that I'm using all of these for speech therapy related games. So we have say each word as you feed the bear 1 fish at a time. We have a list of 10 R words and a submit button. I have designed this to be in a Flow Magic deck. However, right now I'm just showing it to you in a plain deck, okay? So you can make feed the animal games in either version. So here we have draggable item. Okay, I can tell there's no drop zone because I can move it anywhere I want. Okay, and it doesn't snap back. Now, if I move the items over, you can see right now that there is incorrect layering. Okay, so everything's draggable, yes, but we don't have, you know, it set to the appropriate position. So let's keep going. All right, Premade Background, all items are draggable, no drop zone. However, now we have correct layering. So it's the same game, but now when we put the fish on top, it goes back to the bottommost layer. Okay, so that is what we want. All right, Premade Background, all items are draggable. Our drop zone has now been connected, but we have incorrect layering. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so we do have a drop zone, and we can tell we have a drop zone because when I hover the fish over the area that I want it to go, it has a blue highlight, okay? But my fish is not going to the back, so that's a problem. All right, now we have Premade Background, all items are draggable, connected drop zone, and correct layering. So this is probably what most of you want to be able to do. So we're going to move it over. We don't see that blue outline, but when we let go of the fish, it goes back, okay? And you notice when I pull this away, it snaps back to that position because it's kind of like tied there, okay? So let's keep going. Okay. All right, so now what are we doing on this page? Oh, nothing is draggable. Okay, so that means that we need to go in and work on that one. So let's go to this one. All right, so we're going to figure out how to do this exact page. I'm going to scroll down to the card. Let's see. Okay, so we're right on this one. Okay, so you see here that we have all the draggable items, so I want to show you how to do that. So I have already imported my fish, I've imported my main picture. I like to put a background behind my character. So some of you may like to just have the character, but I like to have that background, okay? So you can create that using Caption Pick. If you'd like to see a tutorial on that, I have a ton of them, so you can just look that up on my channel. But let's go ahead and make all the items draggable. So we're going to hold down Command on the keyboard and click on all of the fish. All right, so I'm going to make all of them draggable at one time. We're saving ourselves time. And we do need to have a drop zone, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a text box. Actually, we're going to make this bear not draggable. Let's see here, hold on. Sorry guys, I have a lot going on, a lot to show you. So, okay, we're gonna make this bear not draggable to make it easy for us to add the drop zone. So, I feel like most of you, when you're doing Feed the Animal games, it seems like you actually copy this image and you make one of those the drop zone, okay? But you don't need to do that actually, okay? And I think it'll save you memory doing it this other way. So let's stop doing that, okay? So what we need to do is have our image, have our character. We're gonna take some text and we're gonna delete the text from inside by double clicking it. And then we're going to stretch it over the area that we want to be our drop zone. Okay, so I'm gonna make it just this little area, his face, and we're gonna come over to drop zone. Now I want to go and connect all my fish. Okay, so you're going to slowly drag each finger over like this until they're all connected. And if you ever have trouble with this, you can either refresh your page or you can like slightly move the finger to the right and then up. I've found that has helped as well. Okay, so now they're all connected to this drop zone. So see when I'm hovering over it, you can see that it's actually on top of this picture, okay? So I'm gonna click on the drop zone and then I'm going to go to Z order and hit rear and it falls behind, okay? So now I need to make this image draggable. Otherwise, we're just gonna see that blue drop zone on top, okay? And this should fix it for us. So let's go ahead and go to preview. And when we move our fish over, it should go to the back and this snaps back. So that is exactly how we do that, okay? And if we hit submit right now, it's going to say correct, all right? So in this one, I haven't designated for it to be all 10, okay? But you could designate that and we can look at that in just a moment. All right, let's go back to this page and we'll move on. Okay, so this one, let's see, this is the one we just worked on. Okay, pre-made background, all items are draggable and randomized. Okay, so if you've ever wanted to randomize something, it seems a little intimidating, but it totally is not. And I'm going to show you how to do it right now. We have a connected hidden drop zone with the correct layering. So if you're working with students who are actually not motivated by the drop zone, or who kind of cheat using the drop zone or are distracted by it, this is going to be how you can get rid of your drop zone. All right, so let's come over to this one right here. Okay. Once again, I have a lot going on, so I hope you'll be patient in how I explain it to you. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I missed that page. Let me show it to you. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's randomized. So you'll notice that the images are going to be out of order if we refresh it. So right now, let's see, we have yellow, white, and then like a orange creamsicle. So let's refresh the page. Oh, and it started all the way over from the beginning. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Should be this one. So see how they're actually out of order. Okay, so yellow was here in the original position. So these are actually all randomized. So let's go into this one right here. And once again, you see I have the drop zone, the draggable item, and all the fish here. But we are going to learn how to put them into a caption pick like this. All right, so I'm going to leave it like this as my outline. You'll understand in just one moment. And I'm actually going to add a new page, a working area for myself. I'm going to pull out a caption pick. I'm going to delete the image inside, and I'm going to delete the caption inside. And then I'm going to stretch this out over the area that I think it would fit over on the other page. Later, we're going to be transferring it over. I'm going to get rid of the border and put none. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to come over to this page with all my fish on it. I'm going to hold down Command on my keyboard, and I am going to click on each of the fish. And on the very last one, I'm going to make sure I click on this blue tab and then do Command C. Okay, sometimes this does not work, but the majority of time it does. So I'm going to come over to my working page, click on the caption pick. I know I'm inside of it because it's highlighted on the borders, and then I'm going to do Command V. Okay, so it's actually put all of my fish inside, and they're all stacked on top of each other. So now what I want to do is click on the tab of the caption pick and do Command C. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of my drop zone for now, and this image. We can get it on our other page. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Command V, and here is my actual caption pick. So I'm going to stretch it out across, and then I just need to move the fish into the position that they need to be in. Okay, so I'm going to put them out here like this, move them down, and just layer them on top. Okay, so almost there. All right, so we have all of our fish set out. Oh, almost. There we go. Okay. And now what I want to do is click on this caption pick again, Command C. I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to click on all of these fish here, and I'm going to delete them because they were just kind of my guide. So now I'm going to do Command V, and I get all of my fish back. And now I can come over to Container Properties and hit Randomize, and everything inside of the caption pick area is going to randomize. Okay, so yeah, so it's kind of a cool trick. So now I'm going to delete this page. I don't need this page here, and we're going to come back and get this image here. So we want our draggable bear. Let's see. Gets a little messy with all these things on here. So Command C, let's come over to this page, and we're going to do Command V. Okay, I'm going to center him, and I do want to make him not draggable for the moment so that I can drag out a drop zone. Okay, so I'm going to delete the text from inside, and I'm going to put it over the area that I want to be the drop zone, and then hit drop zone. Okay, so now I do need to make all of these fish draggable. Okay, so we're going to make all of them draggable, and then we do have to connect them. Okay, so this can take some time. But what's nice though is later on you can actually swap out the photos pretty quickly. I have another video on that as well. If you're curious to see that, just leave a comment below and I can send you the link. Okay, so now they're all connected. So now what we need to do is we need to click on our drop zone, and we're going to, so right here we want to select all of them. Okay, so remember I told you, if you hit one and then hit submit, it's going to give you the accuracy. But now let's designate it to be, all of them. Okay. So I think there's 10 total. There we go. So it says exactly 10. Okay, now we can go over to Z order and hit rear, send it all the way back, and then don't forget to make sure to click on your bear, whatever your item is, and make it draggable. Come over to Z order and just to double check, send it forward. All right, so let's go ahead and preview that. Oops, I don't know. Oh, you know what happened? Okay, so this bear is actually inside the caption pick. I'm so glad that happened. Okay, so I'm going to delete it out of there, and I'm actually going to move this down. And then I'm going to click on the page and do Command V with that bear. Okay, I'm going to center him here, and then I'm going to find my caption pick and then move the entire thing up. Okay, so now the bear will not be randomized. That's actually what happened. Okay, so now my bear is where it should be. My fish have been randomized. They should all still fall behind, and they do. If I hit submit, it's going to say whoops. And you see that I have a hidden drop zone, okay? And the reason the drop zone is hidden is because I've made it really small, okay? So if I made it larger, it would not be hidden, okay? So you could actually make that transparent square the entire size of this square, and then when they hit submit, they get the whoops audio feedback, and they'd also get that red circle, okay? All right, let's keep going. So we're gonna come back to this page, go to the next one. We did that, we did that. All right, pre-made background, drag and drop zone, field of 3 choices, 1 correct answer. That's what this looks like. Okay, so this is a draggable image. Okay, we can tell we have the drop zone because it snaps back, right? We have a field of 3 choices that if we move them anywhere, they're gonna snap back as well until they're over the drop zone. So if I move it over here, it's gonna snap back. But if I move it to the mouth, it will fall behind, okay? So this says feed the bear a fish that starts with this sound. So now we're designating 1 correct answer, and we're gonna do that by attaching only 1 draggable item to our drop zone, okay? So we wanna do, let's do the word 1 as our incorrect answer. And, actually, okay, I've coded it this way so the incorrect layering, okay, so it stays on top, but when we hit submit, the incorrect answer pops out like we want, and this one would stay here. However, our layering is off. So let's see what correct layering looks like. So here we're going to move the 1 again. It falls behind. Let's hit submit. It pops out. Great. Let's put run in. We feed it to the bear. Hit submit. It's correct. Okay, so now let's go and do that page. All right, so here's what it looks like. Let me scroll down. Okay, so I have my items. So I have imported these images. I've created this in Keynote, but you can easily make this out of a caption pick inside the Boom Learning Workstation. If you'd like me to do that, just leave a comment below or reach out to me and I will be happy to show you. So we're going to size it down. Okay, that's probably way too small, but let's make it about this size. And let's just use our sizing tricks. So here we have, it is 170 by 116. Okay, so we'll do 170 by 116. Okay, and we'll move this over here. And then this one as well, 170 by 116. Okay, so we're going to move that over here. Now, if you wanted to randomize these, you could use the same caption pick thing that we just learned how to do, but we're not going to do that on this one. All right, so this one is another draggable image that I created in Keynote, but once again, you can make this in the Boom Workstation as well. All right, so we need to make sure this is draggable, and then we need to click on all of these and make them draggable as well. Okay, now we do need a drop zone, so actually I take that back. Don't make this one draggable yet. We want to put our drop zone there. All right, so we're going to delete the text, stretch it out across the area that we want to be our drop zone, and then we only want to have 1 correct answer, so we are going to actually drag this over. Okay, so we cannot use the correct and wrong indication here where it says answer options. If you do that right now, let's do it. correct, it takes away the draggable feature or draggable aspect. So when you're doing drag and drop, the way that Boom cards or Boom Learning, their programming is recognizing what's correct and what's incorrect is by you connecting the draggable item. Okay, so just by you, just by you making it draggable and then connecting it, you are letting their system know, hey, this is the correct answer and these are the incorrect answers. Okay, so you don't have to worry about making them wrong or right. This is how you do it. Okay, so now we need to make this item draggable, right? We're going to send it forward like that. Okay, and then that should fix our problem. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we did it correctly. So when we move this, it should snap back. It does, okay. If we move the incorrect word over, it falls behind and pops back out, which is great. If we put all of them in, oops, all of them in, the wrong answers pop out, but the correct one stays. And we have that hidden drop zone, okay. So let's come over here again. All right, pre-made background, drag and drop zone, all answers are now required. So here's another speech therapy activity. So we have our draggable piece here. It has a drop zone, you can tell, right? And all of these are required before we could hit submit. So if we just put over one, this has the incorrect layering on it. If we hit submit, ooh, this is not done correctly. Okay, so that's perfect. All right, so what's incorrect about this one? Oh, it disappeared. Okay. All right, let's come in here. Okay, it's very spontaneous. All right, so I made so many of these, I can't remember if I made that intentionally or not. Let's see. So, we want to come down to this one. All right, so let's look at the coding on here. Okay, so it looks like this item was not sent forward. Okay. And that would have fixed the problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and preview it. And oh, and the other thing was that the drop zone was allowing just one before it was correct. So we want to make it so all 10 are required. Okay. All right, so let's move this back up. We're going to test it out, and then we'll come right back and we will make the we'll make it. Okay. So here we have the fish that's going to come over and go in the mouth, disappear behind. This is still linked. Okay, if we hit submit now, it does not work, but you see we do have that red drop zone. Okay, so I've made it large enough that it's peeking out just a little bit. So now we're also going to learn today how to make this fish, or how to make an image with a text attached to it anywhere you want so that they drag together as one. All right, so let's go into the workstation. If you're enjoying this tutorial so far, I hope you'll give this video a like. It means a lot to me. All right, so here we are on this page. Let's go ahead and do this page. All right, so we need to make all of our images draggable. Before we do that, let's go ahead and get an extra work page. We're going to pull out a caption pick, and in case you don't already know how to do this, I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to just grab a fish, and let's grab this fish right here. And then caption, you're just going to change it to the font that you want. And let's make the word, I don't know, let's make it red. I think that's what it was. Okay, so now you want to click on the actual caption pick itself and make it draggable. And when you do, the whole thing is going to drag together as one. So when we preview it, this whole thing will drag together. Okay, and you can get rid of that border. I'll show you how to do that right now. Let's see. I really wish when you came back from the preview that it would take you to the page you were on. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay, so if you wanted to get rid of that border, you would simply come over to border and then hit none, and it's going to disappear. Okay, and you can actually resize the images within this area and move them anywhere you want. Like you could move this here, and then that image is actually going to move together like that. Okay. So we'll put it right there. So that's how you would get these little fish. Okay, so let's go ahead and make them all draggable. Okay, so you're clicking on all of them. You're going to make them all draggable at once. And we're going to move this guy over, and we want to have a drop zone. Okay, actually, let's move him back because we don't have him as draggable, so we can just put our text right on top. Okay, so let's make it smaller so it has a hidden drop zone. Okay, so I'm going to make it really small like that. make it a drop zone, and here we just need to connect the fish again. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm just going to connect 3 of them, all right? And we'll click on this drop zone. Let's say for some reason we only wanted 3. Right now it's at least 1, so let's make it exactly 3. And then we're going to click on the drop zone, send it back, click on the bear, make it draggable, and then send it forward. Okay, so that should work. Let's go ahead and test it. So we assigned just those 3. So let's put in these over here. They all drop in, which is great. And let's hit submit. They all pop out because we did not assign those. Okay, so even though they were all connected, these were the ones that were designated. So let's actually put them in like this. Again, yeah, it has to be these 3. Okay. All right, so let's come back over here. All right, pre-made background, drag and drop zones, field of 2 choices, 1 correct answer. So now we have something like this. You could do this with a number sequence or sequencing in general, or spelling. So I have an R word and the word is going to be rain. I have a clue that's a picture clue, and then I have 2 draggable pieces here that, you know, snap right back because there is a drop zone in this picture, and that is behind this bear image, okay? So we have the letter R-A-I-N. This is a pre-made background in our instruction, feed the bear the missing letter. So we can bring the Z over here and say raise. Let's see if that's the one. Submit, no, it pops back out. Let's look at the clue. We're gonna slide it over and we have a rain cloud. Okay, so let's put this here. That does spell rain. Okay, let's go ahead and drop it in and hit submit, and that is correct, okay? So let's go ahead and see how to make this one. So here's our page. Let me scroll down. This is gonna be a long tutorial, you guys. Okay, here we are on this page. So I have my background imported already, and my image is already imported to save us time. So I'm just gonna size them down, okay? And I really like having the pre-made template because then I just have to size the pictures to fit the areas I've already planned out for them, okay? So let's make these the same size. And again, we can look at size here, 127 by 99. And, whoops, we will do 127 by 99. All right. Now, just in case you're not aware, it's not really important for this, but I'll point it out. If I wanted to align, let's say this one was down here, and I wanted to quickly align the items, right? I'm going to click on the first one that I like the alignment for, and then I'm going to click on the second one, come over to align, and then we can align like that. Hit horizontal, and it puts it in the same plane, I guess. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this nice and large here. And we want to have a button cover this up. So let's grab a button here. And I'm just going to say clue. I'm going to change the font to this Miss Kindergarten font. And I want to make it draggable. I'm going to put it right on top. And then let's see here, we want to make our drop zone. So we're going to put our drop zone out. I think by this point, you're going to be a master at this, right? So it's very easy to understand now how to do this, huh? Okay, so here's our drop zone. All right, remember if you want to make it appear with a red line, if it's incorrect, you can stretch it out a little bit further, but we're going to keep it right here. And then we want to make both of these draggable. And we only want to connect one. So let's just connect this one right here. And then we need to send our thing back, our drop zone back, and make this image draggable and then send it forward. All right, so let's go ahead and test this out and see if it works. So we have a field of 2 choices. We have a guide here to help us figure out what we're doing, our instructions, and our clue. So we have our clue. It's going to pop back if we let go of it, okay? And let's go ahead and put in the incorrect answer. Hit submit, pops back out. That's great. Put it in. Perfect. Sends us to the next page. All right, we just have one more, you guys. All right, we have a pre-made background, drag and drop zone. All items are required. Okay, so it has kind of a cool design. Feed the bear all the fish. And I have a submit button here that we're not going to be coding today. but that would be for Flow Magic. We'll just use the submit button right here. So we want to be able to drag our fish over and have them all put in. If we hit submit, it's going to say whoops because we have not got all the fish in, and I have my drop zone small enough, right, so that there is no red circle feedback. All right, so let's go ahead and make this one. So we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Almost there. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. There's one more, you guys. So, all right, here is the area. Okay, so this right here is an actual background, a pre-made background, and my fish I've already imported to save us time as usual. Okay, so we're just going to click on all the items, and we want to make them draggable. Now, for this one too, you can easily do caption pick just the way we did before. So maybe you want to rewind before and see how you do it, but you just would put them out in a circular motion or circular shape. All right, so those are all draggable. We do need our drop zone. Since this is moved to the side and we already have an image here, we can just use our drop zone on top of that. So we're going to stretch it out like that. And let's do drop zone. And then we're going to just attach all of our fish. Okay, so to save time, I'm simply just going to attach 2 of them, but you would be attaching all of them. Okay, so you can see now that this is obviously in a lower layer, so you want that to come forward. So we're going to make it draggable, and then we're going to go to Z order front, and then put it right on top. All right, so we don't want the fish to be underneath, so let's scooch them out a little bit, and then we'll come and test it. Okay, I also wanted to point out you can easily rotate these fish. So you just click on one of them, come over to size and rotate, and then you can rotate it whatever direction you want. Okay, so that's a really cool feature as well. Let's move this one out and over, preview it. And let's go ahead and put in one from the wrong side. Whoops. Pops it out, that's great. And whoops. Perfect, just those 2 went in. Okay, so let's go back into our workstation, and I'm going to show you how to make the last one. Pre-made background, drag and drop zones, grid of 9 choices, 1 correct answer. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Feed the bear the whatever you designate. Okay, so if I try to drag this one over and feed it to the bear, it's going to pop back out. Okay, I think I have some extra layering on here. Okay, but if I feed this one and this one, let's do both, it pops that one back out. Okay, so I think this is a really cool style game. I'm sure lots of you have seen it. So we're going to learn how to make that right now. All right, so come over here, scroll down to the bottom. And if you've been watching this long, I hope that you've really been enjoying it. So, all right, so feed the bear. Here's what the image looks like. I think I have an extra piece here. I do have an extra piece. Huh. Oh, that's so funny. I was looking for this one earlier, but I covered it up. Okay. All right. So, okay. All right, so here's our page. So we have the background imported already, and this basically was a blank area up here so that I can easily, as I'm creating this whole game, all 9 of these, I can just easily put the one that I want there. Okay, now you can also make this your conditional linked button if you're doing a Flow Magic thing. So yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and make all of these draggable. Oops. All right, so we're going to make them all draggable, and then we need our drop zone. Okay, so we're going to do this, make it a drop zone. Probably can do this in your sleep now. Okay, so let's go ahead and connect, we'll connect 3 of them, or let's just connect all of them. I think I'm just trying to save time, but if you have made it this far in the video, I'm sure you can watch me linking them here. So here we have 8 and 9. All right, so now let's click on our drop zone and do Z order, send it to the rear, click on our bear, do draggable, and then we're going to send it to the front. Okay, and I'll say that the next time you do this, so let's go ahead and duplicate the page. We're going to actually swap out this photo with a different fish. So let's make it the pink fish this time. Okay, so now what we do on this is, oh, I'm so glad I did this actually. I'm sorry, I linked it incorrectly. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, let's delete this. All right, we're gonna delete the drop zone completely. Okay. I think I was on autopilot. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have our draggable items. All right, but we only want this orange fish to be the one, okay? Okay, so make our drop zone again. All right, do it like that. Drop zone, only going to connect the orange fish, okay? And that would make it so that anything else would not let us off the page, okay? So then we could duplicate the page, and now let's actually delete this bad page, okay? We're going to duplicate this page because it does have the correct coding, and we're just going to actually, let's see, we can just make it not draggable and then make it draggable again, okay? Oh, but it still connects. Well, we could just swap out the fish. Okay, so you could double click on it and then just put the fish that you want in there. All right, so let's just make it that fish. And then size it down. Okay, and then we can make this the orange fish. Gets this one right here. All right, so then this one we'd want to make the pink fish as well. Okay, so actually, guys, I have all these fish pulled up, so that's why it's coming out weird. Okay, so there's the fish that we want. All right, so now this kind of presents a problem, right? Because students will probably know every time it's in this position. So actually what I think we should do is, can you guess? Caption pick, right? So we're gonna grab a caption pick, and then that way we can randomize it. And that way we can save ourselves time from having to link a different one to the drop zone each time, right? But it'll randomize the fish for us so the students won't know which one is which, right? So we'll just grab all of these. And unfortunately, when we click it, it's gonna stack them all like that, but that's okay. So now we're going to just come over to this page, Command C, and then we're gonna move him over just to save us. Oh my gosh, it made it so much smaller. I've never seen it do that before. Okay, so we're going to do Command V, and we're going to get rid of the border of the drop zone. Okay, put it like this. Okay, and now we just want to put our fish out here. Okay, and this is all within our caption pick, so when we move it, it'll be fine. Oops. Okay, so let's move this over here, and here's our yellow fish, our brown fish, and our green fish, our orange fish, or tangerine, and then our orange fish. Okay, so that looks good. So now what we can do is we want to make sure this is connected to our drop zone. So let's just get rid of that drop zone completely so we have a fresh one. I don't know if you know, but the drop zones have like a memory, and I just would prefer to have a clean drop zone each time. So we're going to connect the fish that we want from our drop zone, or I'm sorry, to our drop zone. We're going to click inside of our caption pick. You may want to rewind and watch this part again, I think. Okay, so randomize items. So all of these should randomize, okay? So now we want to click on the tab of this caption pick, Command C, delete it. We're going to delete all these little fishies because we do not need them, right? Delete, okay? And this extra one. And we're going to move our drop zone over. Okay, let's make our bear larger. All right, bear needs to be draggable, but let's put our drop zone on there first. Yeah, I recommend that you rewind and watch this part because it was so spontaneous. All right, so here's our drop zone. Now we're gonna click on the page and do Command V, right? And then there are our images, okay? We know they're randomized. We're gonna connect this fish here, which is our pink fish. And then we need to make this item, well, let's send our drop zone back. Click on this item, make it draggable, and then send it forward. And let's go and see, okay? All right, so it did move. Okay, so it moved a little bit here. So I think because the background has white, it looks a little sloppy. Let's see. They're not all centered. Okay, so the issue is they're not all centered in their square, okay? So we want to make sure they're centered. So let's go ahead and align them. All right, so align like that. And some of them are different sizes. That's also an issue, right? So let's make them a little smaller. And ideally we want them all the exact same size, right? Because when they're randomized, if they're different sizes, then it's going to look really sloppy, right? So just make sure that they're all the identical size and in the same position, in the correct position. Okay. All right, so let's see if that works better. So we'll go ahead and preview it. Now the pink one should still be the correct answer. Okay, this looks much better, right? It's not sloppy. Some of them are larger, but that's okay. Okay, let's move the red one. We'll feed it. It goes in. Let's hit submit. Pops back out. That's perfect. Feed the pink one. And that one does work. Okay, perfect. So that's how you do it. Okay, I think that is everything on here. That is. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's the only Feed the Animal tutorial you need to see. And if you have any questions or you want to know how to do something else, like maybe add sound to your draggable items, then you can leave a comment below and let me know. I also have a ton of ideas for like mistakes to avoid when you're doing this and some bonus thoughts. So I want to share the bonus thoughts now, and then the mistakes to avoid, like common things that happen when you make this game. I want to make a video for that. But the bonus thoughts are going to be add a sentence strip in here. So as you have this activity, add like a little carrier phrase to help support your students and the therapist or teacher who is using this virtually. Because if there's a space for a carrier sentence there, then it makes it really easy to drag your little items over to that and you know, expand their language as they're using it. I'd also say, you know, adding in autoplay instructions is great. It'll save you space on the page instead of having to do maybe like a little volume icon here. You can just have it autoplay, and adding sound effects to your fish, or like a chewing sound or munching sound. I would beg though that you don't make it too long of a chewing sound. I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people that cannot handle chewing noises. So just know that there are therapists and teachers who, you know, and students who have a hard time with that. So if you do a chewing sound, make it a little short, cute chewing sound, or tell your users how to turn off the sound. And then you can also do something like choosing your character navigation. So if you're using a full magic deck, and instead of doing a polar bear, maybe we want the same activity with Santa or an elf or a reindeer, and you can give your students the freedom, or your user students the freedom, to choose a character, and that is just going to boost their buy-in to this game and really have them engaged all session long. Okay, so your customers will be happy with that, and their students will be too. If you have made it this far, please leave a comment below and let me know. I'm so happy that you made it all the way through, and I look forward to hearing from you more. Okay, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.